What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the AM, guys. Welcome back to 5 Minute Rants. I'm your host, Michael Abernathy, and welcome back to the show predicated on the journey of life and business. I hope life's treating you well. I hope it's really treating you guys good. I'm doing better than I deserve. And really just going to go jump straight into what we're going to talk about today. So I wanted to talk about specifically something that I call to submit to the way. And I talk a lot about this with Andrew. Him and I have a lot of discussions about this particular topic. And one of the things that we talk about is how there are principles and formulas for everything in life. The way everything is done, there's a path or a principle and a formula. And the reason why I'm talking about this is oftentimes we seem to break when we don't submit to the way things are done. So for instance, if you want healthy relationships, the way that you have a healthy relationship is you're kind, caring, you are interdependent, you love yourself, right? And then as a result, you actually are selfless and love others and take care of others, and then you have healthy relationships, okay? Or you walk away from people who aren't going to be healthy with you. There's principles that relationships operate within. The same thing is with business. The same system, the same formulas or principles, they're not the same principles or formulas, but the same system occurs in business. And business is done a certain way. And most people fail in business, or we break in business when we violate this. When we violate the principles and the formulas or the way that business is done, we break. And it's very interesting because you'll hear people oftentimes in business talk about how they just got lucky. And here's a couple things behind that. First, you can copy somebody who's already made it because they already understand how business works. They understand the principles and formulas you've got to operate with in order to be successful in business. The second thing with lucky, or when you hear people talk about that, it simply turns out to be that often the way they do things is the way that business is done. They might not have had or come to the same conclusions that I had to actually break this down practically to how it's done, but their way is the way business is done. And so if you think about it like this, if you want to do it your way and your way turns out not to be the way it's done, it breaks or you fail. Every time that we have had failure in business, it always turns out that I violated these principles or I violated the formula. Every time that I have failure in relationships or I have failure in any area of life, it turns out that I've violated the way that it is built, the way that all of this is built and all the way that this is done. And oftentimes when I'm not successful at something, or when it takes me a long time to become successful at something, and I'm not talking about learning a skill set, I'm talking about actually practically applying and moving forward in an area of life, it's simply because I don't want to submit and let go to how it's done. I've talked with other business people, and a lot of other business people, a lot of the same conclusions we've come to is doing this is hard, and it's not the way that most people do things. And if you're not willing to let go of what you know, and you're not willing to let go of how you do things to learn how things are actually done and accomplished, you're not going to be successful. And that really speaks volumes, especially because it seems to be that the common trait in a lot of really successful leaders or businessmen is they're just more willing to be wrong than other people. It seems to be that humility is at a core point in their lives and in our lives, and a core point at all of this in order to move forward, that humility is deeply required to let go and to submit to the way it's done. Another example of this, my wife and I were talking about money, and she's like, man, money's so hard to make. She made that statement to me, and I paused her. I was like, hey, it's not that money's hard to make. It's that you don't want to make money the way that it's actually made. You don't want to make money the way that it's actually made. Making money is easy. It becomes hard when I don't submit to the actual way that it's done. And so when you're listening to like business podcasts, when you're listening to podcasts about building or creating or entrepreneurship, know that a lot of them are all around specific areas of the formula and the principle for how it's done. And whether people are aware that this actually exists, people talk about like, hey, it's a system. You do this, this works. Well, that sounds kind of like science to me, that there are laws of gravity and physics. Whether you believe in them or understand that there's gravity, everybody operates according to them. So anyways, guys, that being said, I'm out of time. And just remember, if you're about to start something, submit to the way. Figure it out, submit to it, and you'll do great. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.